Hello, my fellow witches and warlocks. I am Baron Bones, and welcome back to From the Crypt. Today, we talk about Child's Play. For those of you not in the know, Child's Play was directed by Tom Holland, the director, not the actor who played Spider-Man. And it was a hugely successful horror movie back in 1988. In fact, it spanned a franchise that is successful to this day. In fact, there's a spin-off TV series on Sci-Fi about the characters of this very same movie franchise. So how does the first movie hold up today? Well, let's dive in and find out. So Child's Play opens up with serial killer Charles Lee Ray, played by Brad Dourif, running away from a police officer. When the police officer wounds him, he runs into a toy store, where he is then fatally shot, and, well, on his last legs, in desperation, he opens what's called a good guy doll, and begins a voodoo spell to transfer his soul into the doll. Cut to a few days later, and we see a single mother raising her kid named Andy, played by Alex Vincent, and she wants to get him a good guy doll. Unfortunately, she's, well, not financially well off. So she turns to a peddler that she finds in the back alley of her work. She ends up buying a good guy doll off said peddler, and that good guy doll ends up being called Chucky. For those of you who have followed this franchise for years, you know how this story goes. For those of you who don't, you should know what the name Chucky means at least. If you're not that well informed, I really don't understand why you keep watching my show. But I will explain. Chucky ends up being the murderous Charles Lee Ray, and he ends up killing people. That's the basic set piece of this film. Obviously, the only one who knows about this is the 6-year-old, and nobody believes him at first. Then the mother finds out, and no one believes her. So it's up to the mother to find a way to stop this madman before he kills her son. Child's Play is a wonderfully simple story that preys on a basic fear that most people have when they're children. What would happen if your toys came to life? Now, Toy Story makes this concept seem sweet and innocent, but we all know secretly if that actually happened, we would lose our minds. We would absolutely go insane. This movie plays on that primal fear, and it does it wonderfully. It manages to not overcomplicate its scenario and just allows the concept to seep into the watcher's soul. And I really enjoy that. Now, the characters here aren't anything special. They're your standard people. And that's what works in this particular film. No one stands out as far as the character is concerned because they're all relatively normal. And that makes the film more relatable. Unfortunately, some of the performances, basically that of Catherine Hicks, are a little over the top. This film can get a little cheesy, especially with the way the lines are written, and some of the performances don't always live up to the story's potential. Some of the performances, however, are really well done, especially the performance of Brad Dourif, who plays Charles Lee Ray and voices Chucky, and he is just amazing in the role, and I can see no one else playing this character as well as he did. The visuals here are a mixture of animatronics, and they also used a little person on set to give some more range of motion to the character of Chucky. And I think that helps the film out immensely. If this movie was done today, it would be all CGI, and you wouldn't even feel like the character was in the same room as the other characters. with these practical effects, you can actually tell it was there. And you can see how it helps certain actors perform. And with the addition of the little person adding a huge range of motion, I honestly think that this visual style lives up today. This is helped by a wonderful score. I really enjoy the beats that this film has as far as the music is concerned. A lot of horror movies from the 1980s used synthesized music, and this movie doesn't use a whole lot of that, and that works beautifully to the film's advantage. At the end of the day, it's easy to see how Child's Play spawned so many wonderful sequels and is still a successful franchise. That being said, it's not my favorite franchise, and it's not even my favorite beginning of a franchise. That's more like, well, Halloween, to be honest with you. But I still find myself enjoying this movie. And if you haven't seen Child's Play, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You really need to check it out. Especially since it is the birth of such a wonderful icon in Chucky, who is still an icon today. You really need to find a copy of this film and watch it. I have the collector's edition from Scream Factory Shout Factory, and I must say it's a wonderful addition to my collection. Anyway, that's my opinion on Child's Play. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. And maybe subscribe and like the video just to get that buffoon off my back so he will stop asking me to ask you folks that. Anyway, since we're on the topic of movies that started franchises, next week we'll be taking a look at Saw. See you then. And as always, stay terrified.